Okay. Says we're going live. Sometimes it takes a few minutes. Sometimes they see us on Facebook before we know we're live. So if you're watching from Facebook, just be patient. We'll be right with you. And okay, so now we are live. Welcome, everybody. I'm Chris Wassel. I'm with the Foundation for Ichthyosis. I'm the Community Engagement Director, and I'm thrilled to have with us today Jordan Flake. She's an affected member of FIRST, and she has 2 children, one affected and one unaffected, beautiful children, and a wonderful husband, and we know her father. It's a one big happy family. So before we get started, I just wanted to mention a few things. If you're joining us on Facebook, please feel free to comment in the comment section, and I'll share those questions with Jordan as we go through the discussion. If you have any questions or anything at all, please put them there, and we'll try to feed them in as often as we can. And the other thing I wanted to mention, with 2021, we have a big push for volunteers for FIRST. And so many of you have reached out to us in the last couple months, and we're thrilled that you're going to be helping us out. We have so many different opportunities, and we need all different types of backgrounds. So if you have any desire to join us in our volunteering for FIRST, whether it's a small piece, a big piece, we'd love to have you. So reach out to me, send an email to Chris Wassel at cwassel@skinfoundation.org, and I'll be happy to get back to you. So once again, I'd like to introduce Jordan Flake, and really, Jordan, thanks so much for joining us. I saw Jordan's video on her channel. She does a lot of, I guess you would call it vlogging, or what do you?
Yeah, vlogging, or, informative videos, I guess.
And they are very informative, and she gets a lot of questions at the conference and personally with her experiences, both as an affected member, a father that's affected, a child, unaffected child. She's, it's amazing, and has such a great attitude, and I just want to introduce you, and thanks again, and welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So we're going to be talking about pregnancy and ichthyosis, and Jordan's obviously, her experience doesn't mean it would be the same experience for any of you, but I'm sure there's a lot of questions for people, because we get them all the time at the office. I would like to get pregnant. How does it affect my skin? What to expect in delivery? Can I breastfeed? All those different questions. And, Jordan doesn't have experience in every single question you may have, but, she'll take us through a little bit of her experience, and, it's an informal conversation back and forth. So if you have any questions, like I said, put them in the comment section, and, we're going to try to get through each and every one of them. So Jordan, I know we talked about different topics. Do you want to, I don't know where you want to start with your experience.
So I guess mine is a little bit different, because neither my husband or I cared if the child would have ichthyosis. And originally I was diagnosed with CIE, and that was recessive, so I wasn't really worried about it. But then I was diagnosed with confetti, which is dominant, so then it changed to a 50% chance. And so we both talked, and we said we didn't care, that even if the child did have ichthyosis, that I would be the best parent that the child could have in that situation. And so we didn't really do any research. We didn't do any genetic testing. We just went for it. And, the first child didn't have it. And then the second time, I just had a feeling towards the end that he was going to have it, and he did. So,
yeah. And what when you said a feeling, it's just a feeling. There was no ultrasound or any test that gave you an indication. You just felt that.
I just felt it. Sometimes looking at his hands in ultrasound pictures, I just felt like they looked almost like they had not a band around them, but like they just looked tight. The hands did. I know I've heard some people say they could see skin floating in the amniotic fluid, but I don't know. And neither of my kids moved much compared to what I've had, or what I've heard. But I just felt like
Oh my gosh, he is so adorable.
he's wearing one of my old V-neck t-shirts, so it's like down to
He's
Say hi.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Hi. And the blue eyes, I can't stand it. Oh my
Blue.
God.
What?
I lost track of him for
You lost track of him.
Oh, that's okay. No problem. I'm glad he joined us.
It's bedtime.
And then I don't know. So I've also heard that some people say that the affected child is, less active in the womb, and I don't know. I just had a feeling, I guess.
And yeah, that's just mother's intuition. I guess, they know better. And you, I mean, obviously your obstetrician knew you had ichthyosis, and you had mentioned something about the ultrasound. They didn't ever try to determine that, or there was nothing.
No,
There's
the other one. At the time, they couldn't do. So my youngest is 3, and so at the time they said that just through the genetic testing that they do for like chromosomal abnormalities and stuff, that they couldn't find that on there. And so since I do know my gene mutation, they said they could do an amniocentesis and run that, but I didn't want to risk it.
Yeah.
And if it was a 50% chance anyways, and I figured,
it didn't change anything for you anyway.
No, It didn't change anything. We were already prepared. We already had lotion, because of our circumstance, but yeah.
Did you have to educate you already have the same mutation, so did you have to educate the doctors in the delivery room once he was born?
So sorry, I had 2 C-sections, and my doctor obviously knew, and after Jackson was born, one of the nurses said he has skin like mommy, and then my husband went with him to the nursery, and he actually was telling them what to put on him, and he was educating the nurses in the nursery.
Wow.
And because they knew he had ichthyosis, the only problem that he had at birth was temperature regulation, thankfully. And they let him stay in the nursery, and they brought him to me to do lotion. Unless the nurse was comfortable doing it, then she would do it. If not, she would bring him to me. So that was nice. They kind of let me, take the reins. So.
Oh, that's nice. And I mean, since our call is talking about pregnancy, let's back it up a little bit. I know we said ahead of the call, you obviously always wanted children, it was a 50-50 chance, and that was totally fine with you. So when you became pregnant, what were the concerns you had about your skin, or did things change? What do you think other people should keep in mind as far as becoming pregnant?
My main concerns were if I was going to be able to eat enough to
True.
sustain my own self and the baby. And then I live in South Carolina, so it's really hot. So I was worried about overheating, from being pregnant and having ichthyosis. And obviously hydration, and thankfully I didn't have any morning sickness, but I was worried about how that, any dehydration would affect that. My skin
did you suffer from any of those things?
No, thankfully.
I
did not. Yeah, I was nauseous, but I never, got sick or anything. So thankfully. Well, Jackson had gagged a lot, but
oh, geez.
I never actually got sick.
How about your skin? Did you notice a change in your skin throughout the pregnancy?
It was definitely drier. I actually started to get eczema on my legs and my ankles, and they actually started weeping, and my doctor just said that was from like the swelling and the pressure, and that was pretty bad. I also my extremities got to where they would feel like they were on fire.
And that's from the pressure of the swelling of the skin also?
I think so, because if I put my arms up, it helped. But if they were down and my feet also, it would just felt like all the blood in my body was just rushing to my hands and my feet at once. And it definitely hurt a lot. And I don't know if it was skin related. My doctor was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So,
and was that the entire pregnancy or just as the baby grew? And
yeah, just towards the end, probably third trimester.
so how did you relieve it then, aside from putting your hands up? I mean, you didn't have bed rest or anything like that?
No, but with my first daughter, I kind of put myself on bed rest because of that. And it was just so uncomfortable to stand. I don't know if it was ichthyosis because I didn't really have this problem as much with Jackson, but I couldn't stand for more than 5 minutes without getting like just so much pain in I don't even know. I just felt like I couldn't stand anymore. So I kind of put myself on bed rest because.
Oh, interesting.
And I sat in the shower.
Wow. That's really interesting. I mean, I guess throughout the pregnancy, if your doctor, didn't have experience with another patient with ichthyosis, I mean, like where did you go to get some answers, or if you had questions or?
He was good help. I went to him specifically because he was a high risk pregnancy doctor.
Okay.
And while I didn't consider myself necessarily high risk, I did do some research before I picked an OB. And he pretty much let me, within reason, call the shots. He also, because I am small, he was worried about my skin tearing or anything like that. He didn't want me carrying over 8-pound baby. So we did a C-section at 37 weeks. Yeah, 37 or 38. I don't remember.
So would you recommend a high risk doctor for other members that are thinking about getting pregnant, or just think? I mean, do you get extra testing? I know there's a question from Daniel. Oh no, the one that I was going to mention. They said did they do extra tests like glucose and sonogram at your pregnancy?
I mean, they did the glucose test, but we had a lot of ultrasounds with both, just for, he tested for like to make sure the baby was growing right and make sure like my skin maybe not being able to stretch as much wasn't impacting the baby. I feel like we went a little overboard,
Okay.
but I think it was good in case a problem did arise. I know some people with ichthyosis that are pregnant just do it all normal, but I was nervous, and so.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. I mean, I guess every patient is different, but it's kind of nice to get a little bit of the extra testing through, even if you had the concerns. Someone was asking, what was the weight of your babies? Were they all? I mean, I know 37 weeks is slightly early, so were they smaller, or were they a good?
Nope. Sadie was even at 37 weeks was 7 pounds 3 ounces, and Jackson, who is affected, was 7 pounds 1 ounce.
That's fantastic! Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Thank you.
There's a comment here that someone had leg swelling and these compression stockings, which they thought helped.
I did use those.
Okay.
But mainly because I have very bad varicose veins, even when I'm not pregnant, on my legs.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've had them since I was like 15. I don't know.
Oh, interesting. The Diana Gilbert was wondering if her stomach would tear, but she was fine too. She was concerned that, with her skin, as the baby stretched. Thank God it doesn't happen all at once, right?
Yeah.
It happens over 9 months.
Yes. Or it would it would rip.
Did you have any pain with your skin?
Just I felt my skin was more tender.
Okay.
I remember I was in the bathtub when I was pregnant with Jackson, and Sadie threw a Barbie doll in the bathtub with me.
Oh,
and the Barbie's little hands and feet felt like a cat scratching me. It was so bad. I got really mad.
Oh my goodness.
but just more tender, raw. I felt like I was redder, so I felt like I had a lot more like, I guess, inflammation and.
And you mentioned the, being able to eat or drink enough. Did you find that you were able to do that?
Yeah, I did okay. I ate more often, obviously, but I don't feel like that I needed a ton more.
Okay.
Just compared to like my other friends who have had children. I mean, I could down a whole box of macaroni and cheese, but
Whatever you could eat. I know. That's what people always say, eat for two, but really in the beginning, the baby's so tiny.
yeah.
But with your, like you said, with your skin, you need extra calories anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you didn't have too much nausea or enough that it would make you sick. So I guess that would have been harder.
It was hard before, or when I was pregnant with Jackson, I had to eat, before I could eat a meal, I had to eat a whole can of Pringles.
Oh,
Before I
that's
could
also
like
nutritious.
before I could stomach a meal.
You
So,
have so far I've heard mac and cheese and Pringles. So there you go.
yeah.
That was your magic. Someone was saying, how did you handle the summer heat, especially down in South Carolina? Like, what are your tips for somebody who's pregnant or thinking of becoming pregnant and lives in a really hot climate?
I wished that I would have had a handicap placard. I still wish I had one. But I parked as close as I could. I didn't go in, or I didn't go out that much. With Sadie, she was born in September. And so the last trimester was in the summer. And then Jackson was born in February. So the first trimester. And I can honestly say that the first trimester in the summer was worse. I don't know because my hormones were not like leveled out with pregnancy yet or what, but it was, I just sweat. I don't normally sweat at all, but I sweated so much when I was in the first trimester with Jackson. I don't know. It was.
That's interesting. Well, plus you had another child to care for at the same time. That would make it a little more difficult too. Sadie, like how old was Sadie when Jackson was born?
Almost 3.5.
Oh yeah, that's pretty, that'll do it. That'll make you sweat. Right?
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm just going through the comments here. Kathy said she has lamellar and her first was 11.5 pounds. You win, Kathy.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Good
That's
for
hard for
you.
anybody.
And hopefully, Kathy, you can make a comment in the comments too, that how is your skin with an 11.5 pound baby? That's really amazing. Wow.
Well, Katie just had twins too.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah, Katie, what's her name? Katie, somebody tell me, somebody knows.
Oh, I know, I can see the face. I just can't think of her last name.
Yeah, but she just had twin girls, and I think they were both about 5 pounds.
Wow.
So,
congratulations.
yeah.
Oh, Katie Smith, that's it.
Katie Smith,
Diana.
yes.
I knew Diana would pull through on that one.
Yeah.
Karen Thornton also said that you can get a placard, a handicap placard, because of your skin. Whether you're pregnant or not. I mean, I know there's a lot of members that have trouble walking, their feet are in bad shape, so don't forget.
Well, I tried to get Jackson's pediatrician to write one like for him, but he said I had to go to the dermatologist to get it signed off. So I don't know if he just didn't feel comfortable doing it or what, but our dermatologist is like 2 hours away. So.
Oh, well, wouldn't you be able to just call them and ask? I mean,
Maybe.
he's seen.
I mean, they have to sign paperwork. I'd have to like probably fax it over.
Yeah, that's important. I mean, there's no need to suffer like that. And of course, Diana Gilbert says your children are gorgeous. We know that, right?
So are hers.
And Diana also said people told her skin looked even better when she was pregnant. That's interesting.
Yeah, I feel like mine looked better, but I feel like I was redder.
Okay.
Strangely.
That's interesting.
I don't know.
And well, like you said, even, you were overheating and sweating too. That's something different.
But I don't know if that was just because I live here or just because I was pregnant.
Yeah, not sure. Karen said your derm needs to say so, but he could send a letter. So yeah, that's actually a very good point for people that are thinking about it. You know, don't feel like you have to suffer. There is help available
Yeah.
in terms of that. Going back to which was there a trimester you thought was harder than another?
Well, okay, so my first was transverse the whole time. So I think that was why I had a lot of problems with her.
Okay.
Because she was like sitting on both hips, I guess. But definitely third trimester with her. Jackson, probably the first trimester. Just because I kind of felt bad the whole first trimester with him, whereas Sadie, it was just
Okay.
like maybe a week, and then I would just feel bad if I was hungry. But for my skin, third trimester for sure. Just when everything is like just a lot of pressure and swelling and all of that.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, how did your care routine change throughout the pregnancy, or did you maintain what you normally did? What was different or what wasn't different?
I'd say I definitely had to put lotion on my belly like frequently. I usually only put lotion on once a day. I'll take a shower and then put it on, and then I'm usually good for the day. But
Okay.
you know, a lot of times when I was pregnant, I would take two a day. Um, but I put a lot of lotion on my belly and then like from my knees down, just because they got
And what?
really.
Oh, right. And like you said, the pain. That's interesting. I think after this call, you know, maybe the next couple of days, I want to reach out to one of our doctors to see what they think.
Yeah,
That
I
was
guess I would just think it would be the swell, like the swelling and the going back
swelling.
down and just a lot of stretching. So,
And just to be clear, did you say it happened with both pregnancies?
oh, the burning pain.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I had heat rash with my first one because it was summer at the end, and I would have to lay bags of ice on my chest and on my feet.
God. Yeah, I'll say pregnancy is not for the faint of heart. That's for sure.
No.
But what a reward at the end. Now, when you were in the hospital, you know, we do get a lot of questions about, you know, what to do with IVs. You know, what's the protocol for someone with ichthyosis? Did you have any tips, or were you talking to nurses and working it through as it happened?
It kind of as it happened, and then second time around, I was able to tell them because I delivered at a different hospital both times,
Okay.
or each time. And the first time, I can't remember, but they would use the heart rate and contraction monitor bands around my arm for IVs.
Okay.
Then afterwards, after I had the babies, they would they got like a mesh sleeve thing that I think
Oh,
they
okay.
use in the burn unit.
Yeah.
And they were able to cut holes in it and make me like a glove.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, it was
I
really
haven't
good.
actually heard that one. And how about the IV? Was that difficult?
No, that was okay.
No. Okay.
I
No
mean,
problem there.
I have more issues with small veins than I do, but I don't have thickened skin. So.
Okay. Right. That's yeah. These are all the things I guess, especially like you said with your second child, you plan ahead.
Yeah.
The first one, I guess it's learn as you go.
Yes.
Did your skin change at all postpartum?
Yes. With my first, I don't remember, but I think I had like a big peel, which I don't normally have like a big peel, but I have heard people say that. I feel like I had a big peel after both, and I guess it was
Oh,
just hormone related
right.
or something. I don't know.
Do you think does your skin react to hormones too, like normally, rather than just being pregnant? Is that
Yeah,
something?
I think it gets a little more sensitive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm just going to flip over to Facebook just to pick up some questions that people have posted.
Okay.
Let's see. Someone said, can you Zoom with your derm doctor? Actually, especially with COVID, there's an awful lot of opportunity for people to do teledermatology. So check with your derm. A lot of them have it. So I wouldn't be surprised if yours does too, and you can make an appointment.
Yeah,
Even
because
if
ours
it's
is sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, ours is a pediatric dermatologist, or Jackson's. I don't have one. But Jackson's is a pediatric dermatologist down in Charleston.
Is it Dr. Winley?
Yes.
Yeah, she's fantastic. We love her. Yeah, and that's actually, we're adding a link to our website that lists all pediatric derms in the country. So I'll share that in the next week or two with everyone, whether it's on e-news or social media. So keep an eye out for that. Had a lot of that'll come in handy for a lot of people. Kathy also mentioned that she has stretch marks, and by my estimates, I was 3 or more weeks overdue. Oh my goodness. She said the heat wasn't too bad in Southern California, I guess, that year, but did you have any issues with stretch marks? I know you just said that you used a lot of lotion on your belly.
Yeah, I do have some stretch marks. You can't really see them unless I like turn a certain way, because they're like a light pink. And so you just can't really tell the difference.
Oh yeah, well, that's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's nice. But yeah, that wasn't bad. And I think I only got them with my second.
Okay. Yeah, maybe because he's a little bit bigger, but Diana didn't like the internal exams. She hated that with her pregnancies. And Karen, since she has 5 children, she said the heat was no more of a problem with me during any of my 5 babies, but the 3rd trimester, I had more skin infections. That's interesting. And I guess, like we said, every single patient is different. Everybody, even 2 people that have lamellar, have very different experiences. So this by no means projects what your pregnancy would potentially be like, but it is interesting when we get everyone together to hear all the different experiences they have.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, and then Karen says, wait till menopause, hormone craziness with the skin. That'll be another topic, Karen. I might grab you for that call. We get a lot of calls about that too. And you know, that'll be another great call for everyone that's interested. Now, Jordan, did you breastfeed your children?
I attempted both. I breastfed my daughter for about 2 weeks, and then I pumped for 6 months with Jackson.
Oh my goodness.
I tried to breastfeed him, but he wasn't gaining much when I did breastfeed. Like we had a weighted feed, and it was only about half an ounce that he transferred. He just was very sleepy. I don't know if it was because he was small and he had lost a bunch of weight initially. But yeah, so I pumped for 6 months. But I did have a lot of supply issues, and I got blisters, and it was
yeah,
a labor of love for sure.
Oh, I know. Congratulations for pumping for 6 months.
Oh, thank you.
You get an award for that too. Did they think any of that had to do with ichthyosis, or was that just Jackson, the way he latched on or whatever?
Well, my daughter had a lip and a tongue tie, and so they think that was her issue. And then she sucked really hard, and so it kind of made me like
oh
yeah, so bad.
Yeah,
that was
that's not good for milk production, I guess.
No, if you're like tense, and I didn't want to because it hurt so bad.
Yeah.
As much as I wanted to, I didn't want to. And then I don't know with Jackson, because he continued to do okay, like even attempting to latch, but he just wouldn't.
He probably just wanted that bottle. It was easier.
Yeah, the bottle was easier, and so you know. But I heard I can't think of anyone's name today. She was the director, not the director. She was, yeah, the interim.
Yeah,
What is her
Maureen.
name?
Maureen.
Yeah. No. The one
Oh.
that took place, or
Oh, Denise.
Denise. Thank you. I can't think of anyone's name today.
Yeah.
She actually mentioned something about the keratinization of the milk ducts, because I also had a lot of problems with mastitis. And because she did too, and she said that her lactation consultant or somebody thought that maybe the keratinization of the skin was also happening in the milk ducts, causing them to get clogged.
That's interesting. Well, this next e-news, which goes out in a couple days, we did ask that question about breastfeeding in a couple of the Facebook groups, the private Facebook groups, and mastitis was a big one that came up a lot. It seemed like a lot of people had that issue, but like we said, it's not, I mean, it could be anecdotal, you know,
Right.
people just tend to get mastitis. We don't know if it's related to ichthyosis, but it's certainly worth looking into. And I guess if you know that's a tendency, I don't know whether hot compresses would help ahead of time or.
Yeah, I mean, I got it. I was hospitalized with it one time with Sadie, but I probably had it at least 5 times with each kid. Well, only 3 times with Sadie.
Wow,
And what
that's a lot.
the first 2 were like a week apart, and then I probably had it at least 5 times with Jackson in the span of 6 months.
And yeah, that's amazing. Even so, you got mastitis even when you were pumping?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
That is interesting. That's another one I want to follow up on with our doctors.
Yes.
Because like I said, it did come up several times in the Facebook group. It's worth asking about.
Yeah, I definitely think there should be more information about that, because I think I feel like a lot of people with lamellar have a easier time, just from my own, conversations with people. I don't know, or no, maybe it's not lamellar. Maybe it's EI. I don't know, but it's definitely something that I think should be looked into.
Okay, I definitely will follow up on that one. So, and if I do find an answer, I will share it with all of you. Just going back to the comments here, let's see. As we go into the summer, someone in North Georgia, they use thin ice packs to keep cool. Obviously with the cooling vests. Diana Gilbert said both of her kids went on the bottle.
Yeah.
Karen also had mastitis, but it was only once. She said, "Thank God." And I think we can all agree it's very painful. So it's not something you want to mess around with. So I will absolutely follow up with our MSAB, our Medical and Scientific Advisory Board, about mastitis. And let's see. Trying to think, what else? Is there anything you can think of that you would thought, I wish I had known?
Me? I don't know. I was trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to talk about.
Or even, early in, after the kids were born, can you think of anything like, I wish I had known that, or if this would be helpful to someone else? Feel free to share it.
One thing I was thinking about was whenever you have to put on your lotion and you get out of the shower. So you're lactating and the shower makes you leak, and then you're bleeding. So it's like you don't want to wait too long to put your lotion on, but that was hard, because I was like dripping milk everywhere, and I was like, I need to put lotion on, so I can put my underwear on, so I can put a giant diaper on. And that was hard. And then it's a struggle trying to balance your skin in a newborn, and even now, I mean, I got kids coming in the shower with me and throwing stuff in the shower with me, and it's just hard to put yourself first, because as a mom.
And have you noticed a difference in your skin? Has it, you know,
I
maybe
definitely
before you
don't
could
take,
maybe-
yeah, I definitely don't take as good a care of it as I used to. And I actually called a nail salon recently, and I was like, I just can't keep up with my feet anymore. And you gotta do what you can, but
I know. Everyone's trying to, and before the call, you told me that you homeschool your children, so you got a lot going on. But we're so grateful that you're sharing your story with us, because it really does help the next person.
yeah, I hope to.
Hope. But let me just double check here again on Facebook just to make sure I get everyone's questions listed here. Let's see if there's anything else. Scrolling. Diana said when she tried to breastfeed, the skin would go on her daughter's mouth, and she said, forget it.
Yeah.
This is real life, people.
Yes.
Karen did have a question. She said, I think you did mention this, that you struggled with varicose veins even before you got pregnant.
Yes.
She said her late daughter, oh, it just scrolled off. Her late daughter, Cindy, had varicose veins with Tyler, and it was horrible and extremely painful with her skin.
Yeah, it was bad. I mean, like when I used to work, they would be almost black by the end of a shift. And they're very itchy, but with pregnancy there were more, and they burned.
Oh yeah, that's
because they're already like bulging varicose veins. They're not just like spider veins. They're definitely like knotted.
Would you ever consider getting them treated, or?
I went and saw a vein doctor, and they did an ultrasound, and they said like the flap there, it's on my superficial veins, and they said the flap didn't close or something, and so the blood just pooled in my feet. And they said I could get them cauterized, but then I got pregnant with my daughter, and then it's not the cheapest, even with insurance. And they would have to do it like 4 different times, because it's like like 3 or 4 different veins. Yeah. So
yeah, that's a good
something I haven't done yet.
Yeah. Do you notice that you don't have as much, like, is it not as painful since you're not pregnant anymore, or it's still a problem?
It's still painful, but it's not as bad as it was when I was pregnant.
Okay. That's good to know. Yeah, well, that's pretty much all of the questions at this point. There's 34 comments. So, and thank you everyone for actually posting your questions there. We really appreciate it. And I just wanted to thank Jordan for giving us her time, as the kids want to be with you.
Yeah, well, hopefully they're in bed.
Oh, are they in bed by now? Okay, good job, Dad.
If my husband was successful.
And thank you. I'm glad your husband is, thank him for his service too. That's a nice, but I don't know if you have any other comments before we go, but just thank you again. And for everyone else, I'm going to follow up on a couple of these questions about mastitis and the keratinization of the milk ducts, if that's a thing. We talked about IVs, the mesh sleeve, which was a great tip, a big peel after you had the baby, the handicap placard if you need it, your skin being more tender during your pregnancy, trouble standing. Yeah, we went through a lot. I also wanted to mention too, First offers a lot of resources on our website. It's www.foundation.org. There's a whole lot of information on genetics there. You can order booklets from our website for those topics. And feel free to reach out to the office anytime. We'd be happy to, get your questions answered. So, and another plug for volunteers. So if you feel so inclined, even to do these calls, if there's a topic that you think you'd love to speak about, please call me. We'd love to have you. And our members really appreciate it. And this video will live on not only on Facebook Live, but on our YouTube channel. So feel free to check back, or if you thought you missed something while you were taking notes, it'll be there. So, but thanks so much, Jordan, and we hope to see everybody